I remember going to my great-grandmother's house, spending time with her. She would sing the most beautiful hymns as she was making her breakfast. I can recall it would be salmon croquettes, red gravy and rice, and homemade biscuits. Now that was love. Returning home gives me this pleasure of knowing that I made it through, but it also shows me what I can come back to. Love. Love and camaraderie with people that appreciate me most.
My favorite dish is mac and cheese. Not macaroni and cheese, but mac and cheese. And it's so ooey, gooey.
Red beans and rice with cornbread, and maybe some fried chicken.
There is this amazing cake, Butterfinger cake, that my mom makes. And it's so good, it's so decadent, and just like, it's just what I need every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, and I think about it year round, but I only get it during the holidays.
That boot, that what made me think that was
Auntie, come look at these. I think that's sister and them folks.
No.
This does not look like boot.
Auntie, Granddad said can you sneak him a chick-fil-A on today?
Now how you go? It ain't no sneak no more.
You loud.
You came here and told it.
That's boot.
I think how I learned to cook was like when we were children, there was not an option. Like kids today have an option. They have the option to not learn how to. Sometimes parents feel like it's just easier for them to not be in the kitchen. It wasn't like that for us. Like when we were children, we had to get in, we had to interact, we had to help because our grandma was teaching us this. She was teaching us this. So yeah, it wasn't an option for me. And that's the stove because it finally got to the heat temperature that it needed to be. But I learned to cook because my grandma literally sat down and she showed us, this is what you do to make biscuits was her famous thing. This is what you do. You know, this is how you do it. So that was something that we were taught. And we had to get in and we had to cook. If you were going to eat, you were going to know exactly how to do what it is you needed to do. So, yeah, we had to learn how to cook.
But that's so wild that you say, you know, that there wasn't an option. But y'all were so hands-on with everything. Like, we never had to cook. Like,
absolutely.
The breakfast was always made. Like, the Thanksgiving dinner was always spread. Like,
right.
So we didn't, like, we washed dishes after.
Absolutely. I think with the kids, it's just, well, I think like with my siblings, that whole nother generation, they just felt like, let me just go ahead and get it done. You know, these kids are like more so in the way. So let me just go ahead and get it done and have it over with and, you know, have it done and over with. Whereas to us, it was like, and for us, it was a headache to get in there and do it. But now we realize exactly that it was making memories. You know, it was spending the time. Of course, we didn't see it that way then, but it was literally like, it was changing a whole generation.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm so glad now that I know, and I know basically there are no recipes. We have no recipes with nothing that we cook. It's just you're taught how to just do it until it tastes the way you like for it to be. You know, like you do it, you make sure you have your towel, you clean yourself up, and you taste it. Get your spoon, you taste it. Make sure that's exactly what I was going for. So yeah.
Yeah.
Be about a spider.
Yeah.
Spider, you like Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Say Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
You like Spider-Man? Say spy.
Spider-Man.
Spider.
Spider.
Like a spider. Say spider.
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 Say
Spider.
so go from say spider. Yeah, you did it. You did it.
Yay.
It was hard. You see how she did it? She put her teeth together. I know you like Spider-Man.
Cooking started for me growing up probably because I was mostly raised by my grandmother. So I was always in the kitchen and being super attached to her as a child. And I think I just eventually was intrigued by like, what are you doing on the stove, and having the urge to want to help out in the kitchen. And she's always been a grandparent and a parent really that's like, oh, if you want to learn, just get into the kitchen and start doing. And I want to say it was cakes. Like she used to always make cakes, right? And give us the bowl to like lick the ice. And then I knew right then, if I can get in the kitchen when she's cooking it, I can have other things to taste before everyone else. It was strategic. For holidays, she would be in the kitchen, like cooking super big spreads, right? And seeing the outcome of family would get together, my aunt's cousin, we were there come in town and we would all eat together and have fun and talk. And knowing that like the kitchen is basically like phase one for all those other moments to come, it felt natural to be in the kitchen and just have those moments and hear people say, oh, this is so good, who made this? And you're like, I did that. Yeah.
I am here today. This here is not the way I cut up my greens real small. But then when you buy these greens like this, I went up there to Big Star to get me some. 5 of these maybe like this here was in a, with that little thing tied around, $2.99 a bunch. So I called Elaine, because she is the manager of the store over there. I said, Elaine, yes, sis. And I said, let me ask you this. I said, this whoever put this in here for $2.99, it's got to be wrong. She said, sis, I looked at that too. She said, but that's it, that's the prize. My grandmother, that's how I learned a lot. Now, I have a mother, and she could cook, but I wasn't around her as much as I was around my grandmother. So it's up in my head, because when my grandmother said, pay attention, she meant just that. And if she told me to do something, it should be in my head. Because why? She told me. And that's where I got it from. She started me out early. I don't know what they call them now, but it was scallop potatoes. And that was one of my main dishes that my grandfather fell in love with and all the neighbors. But I loaded that sucker with onions because Mama said onions bring the taste. And man, they were good. And I learned how to do everything from that lady who left me at 98 years old. But she was one of my dreams. And right now, I can get in this kitchen and I think about something and I said, Mama, what did you tell me? And I know you don't want to believe it, but it seemed like she just like one day I was over at the sink and I was trying to wash some greens. She taught me how to wash greens, and you wash those greens too. You didn't scrub them, but you washed them. And I put them in the water, and I noticed she kept, like, I never could get to the green. And all of a sudden, the cabinet over there, behind us over there on the stuff, guess what fell out of it? I was trying to think what she told me, and a box of soda fell out. And I said, that's it. It was just like she, okay, I'm going to help you this time, but this the last time.
Were any of your children interested in cooking like you were?
Yes, just one daughter, which was Alfredia, which is Darius' mother, and he followed in my footsteps. Alfreda can cook anything, I'll say, but Darius conquers everything. He never left Big Mama's side. I always was interested in seeing what I was cooking, how I did it. And right today, what is it? Can't be a chef, can't you? That's it. I mean, it was just, I don't know, just heredity, I guess, because he never did leave. Every time I got in the kitchen and tried to start cooking, he would come in there and look. What you doing, Mama? Stand there. Next thing you know, he was already hooked on it, how to do it. And today, I think he is one of the best cooks in the family. I don't think and it's a big family of us, but they can't beat my baby cooking. Anything. I just knew that one day he was going to be on his own, and he needed to learn everything that I could teach him. And he did too, because he never, anything I was trying to cook and he see, he always came to see how it was done. And do I miss it? Of course. Sometimes I watch him cooking now. Like he just makes my mouth water when he cooks salmon. And I just, you should have been here at home. Shouldn't have never left home. I wouldn't have been up trying to cook. I'd have had it cook with me. I got other kids, but nobody cooks like Darius.
We got, well, Valencia bringing water?
I think last year the kids started to get more involved with the cooking. They started to, okay, let's get in. Let me see. Now, Destiny, she's not so sold on that yet. But Pumpkin is always asking, Jasmine is always asking. Sorry. That's her nickname for us. That's my baby girl. That's Pumpkin. She's always so inquisitive about, okay, so Auntie, how do you do this? And I can never tell her because there aren't any recipes. So she's gotten so good at just kind of watching, just kind of eyeballing, just kind of see that it's really love leading, the love that makes you just want to make sure that you have the best, the most phenomenal end result for your family.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I think that for sure has been passed down. And I really didn't realize how much food was such a central to our fellowship and our family until me and Brittny talked about it with this film, and I just thought through it. I'm just and me and my auntie, now that I'm kind of the one of my friends who will be let's cook, let's grill. I'm starting to realize how central that was to us sticking together,
Absolutely.
And that's a lot of my memory. I literally wrote something about Sunday mornings, what they look like for us, waking up and you, Grandma, Auntie Mary, in the kitchen, like fixing the plates. So it's just like food is so central to like who we are, like as a family, because that's how we come together.
Absolutely.
You know? When I had this conversation with Grandma about like what was her favorite meal that Grandma Tish would make, she said it was chicken and dumplings, and I'm just like, okay, so how can I get to a point to where I know how to make like this staple dish that like my grandma loved, and it's just like I gotta talk to my auntie to it, I gotta talk, I just gotta talk to family to recreate it. But I think it's gonna be a great thing like for the next generation to have and look back and be like, wow, like my auntie used to make these, my great auntie, my uncle, like all that. So I think it's important, and we're gonna get to it.
I do think that it's important, but I think like the story around the reason why Jasmine would want to make the chicken and dumplings. That's the thing. Like if I can get all of my nieces and even my nephews to that place to where what's significant to them is the wanting to make it because it meant so much to their grandma, recipes doesn't matter. I mean, I know that we need them. I mean, I do agree that we need them. But then I think that's what's, like that the intimate part is the reason for you wanting to know, the reason behind wanting to know how she perfected those chicken and dumplings to make it your grandma's favorite meal. So
I agree.
I want our dishes as a family to be remembered as like a pocket of memories, especially with like holidays where we have a full spread of everything you can really imagine. I really want them to think about like when they ate the dressing, did you run into the room and say, Big Mom, this is so good, like Big Mom, what did you put in it? Or now when a lot of us are doing, like I have cousins who are cooking her pound cakes, so they FaceTime her and say, Big Mom, like I did it like this how it looks. Like I want those kind of meals to make us feel like we honored her as the woman of the family, the queen of the family, and the glue of the family, because like those meals were the reason like where a lot of us came home basically. So I wanted to feel like good times, and I wanted to feel like home even when we're not together. For sure.
Food isn't just something we eat. It's about creating memories. It's storytelling in its own right. Food is a part of our enriching culture. It's something that can always bring family and friends together. It gives us permission to laugh together, dance together, talk and even cry. It's important for this new generation to grab a hold to our past, but allow us to reshape how our own future looks like with the traditions we want to carry on. Food is a language that runs deep, so deep. It's all about passing along the stories that help bake, shape, and mold us into who we are today.